I just freaking love it. That's why I love this man. He's a big guy. He's just a big, massive piece of magic, and I just freaking love him. Josh Allen is my hot player of the week. And we were just talking about Kelsey being hot. Josh Allen is hot in every way for me too. I love him. I love him.
Oh, that gets me every time.
I know, me too. Oh man. All right, Tina, since you are our guest tonight, or guest co-host, go ahead. You can go first and share who is your hot player of last week. Everybody watching us, you can also share who you think was the hot player of last week. But go ahead, Tina.
I love his dad. I love him. I love his brothers. They're going to be coming through the NFL. So my nickname that is down there is Denver 87 fan. That is a reference to Ed McCaffrey. So, of course, my hot player of the week is CMC himself, Christian McCaffrey. Everybody knows he got traded. Everybody knows he's a little hot about that. And the game against the Chiefs, he did okay. But this week, he blew it out of the park. Against the Rams, he had 94 rushing yards and 55 receiving yards. He did have a fumble. But the biggest thing about him all is he pulled a hat trick in the game. He threw a TD pass to Brandon Ayuk in the second quarter. He then caught a 9-yard TD pass from Garoppolo in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, he had a 1-yard rushing yard touchdown. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty hot player.
I 100% agree with that.
I mean, he just went off.
I just couldn't believe how short he was. That first video I saw of him in his 49ers gear, he's a little guy. So to do that much, pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's the littlest of the brothers. There's 3 of them.
Oh,
I can't remember or not if the middle one is still at Duke. He's a quarterback. And honestly, according to Ed and his wife, the youngest is probably the most talented.
oh,
So
wow.
if you think of what Christian's been doing,
dude, that's funny.
They got their own Manning dynasty
That's what
started
I'm
there.
gonna say. It's just like what they're saying about the nephew, right? Like, that's so funny.
But I also
Oh my
think
god,
Christian too. Like a lot of people don't know, but Ed and Lisa went to Stanford. So he's back in the Bay Area. He's back where they kind of went to college and they know and
Very
all
cool.
of that. So yeah,
That's
Ed
cool.
even quit his broadcasting job because he wasn't having enough time to be able to go and watch his kids play. So he's now doing that between high school and college and then with Christian. So
Oh, really, Andrew?
arch to the
To the Bucks. Your lips to God's ears, Andrew Faubert.
That's funny. Wow, he really did go off. As soon as he went to the Niners, I was like, oh boy, Niners are going to the playoffs.
And I said this to you guys too. A lot of people don't know. So Kyle Shanahan is his coach. His dad played for Kyle's dad. So the son is playing for the son of the coach of the dad.
Tradition. We're going with tradition.
Yep.
I love that. But no, that was a great hot player of last week. I agree. He was on fire. He was on all sides of the field with that one. So awesome choice. All right, Kate, you're up.
All right. So my hot player of the week happens to be someone, little does anyone know, my second favorite college football team is the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'll roll Tide all day, every day when Michigan isn't playing. So anyway.
Plug your ears, Anthony.
And Colin, I went with royalty this week. I went with the king of the running backs in the NFL, and I went with King Henry, Derrick Henry. He balled out against the Texans. 32 carries, 219 yards, 68 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, and 1 run reception. For the season, he's got 166 carries, 755 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns and 14 receptions. He is your AFC Offensive Player of the Week, and he has the most games in NFL history with 200 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So he is making records and breaking barriers as a running back in the NFL. And he's the most 100-yard rushing games over the last three seasons. So he's just breaking records and making ceilings for other running backs to break. And he's the AFC Offensive Player of the Month even. So for the month of October, he got to be the Offensive Player of the Month with 563 yards, 5 touchdowns, 645 total yards. So 82 receiving yards was part of that 645 yards. So I'm very happy for Mr. Derrick Henry, because I know we've had chatter in this group that with his injury, he wouldn't come back, he wouldn't dominate, he wouldn't be who he was. There's no hope for him ever again to be the running back he was. I've been in the group chats. I've seen what people have said. I've been in the shows. So to see that he's come back and now he's starting to dominate again makes me extremely happy for him. So my hot player of the week is Derrick Henry, and I will always stand by King Henry, and he isn't half bad to look at either.
Hey, I love Derrick Henry, actually. I'm glad that he's recovering, that he's back to dominating. Because honestly, last season I was sad to see him go down, because I really wanted to see him and Jonathan Taylor really prove who was the best last season. You know what I mean? So it kind of was like, yeah, Jonathan Taylor went crazy, but would he have been in first place without him? You know what I mean? Like, it's just too bad that we never, and now he's injured. So it's like, what's going on? We're not
I know, like,
see that.
they keep sitting out practices and everything. But I am very impressed with how you're convinced me for choosing a college team as a franchise. Oh,
yeah. But no, I like Derrick, so I don't.
I know some people hate on him because he's a Bama boy and everything, but I love my Bama boys. I'll support Najee Harris, Sidney Swinton. I know you love him. I'll support the other ones in the league, but Derrick Henry was one of my all-time favorite running backs at Alabama. So
still doing great.
I like Derrick Henry too, until we have to play him next week, and then I won't like it.
Oh, you play?
That makes sense. Oh no, I wouldn't either. I know. That's a good point. It's rough, man.
It's like having a brick wall coming at you when you watch him run.
He's huge. He can block. It's wild. I mean, I've seen 2 or 3 defenders trying to stop this guy, and he'll drag him still before he goes down like a few yards.
His yards after carry are impressive because he can drag a pile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he is an amazing running back. So I'm glad to see he came back too.
Yeah,
and I'm glad to see he's doing well. I just don't want
our
defense.
I never like to face off against him either.
No.
I never do either. I get it.
I'll take some video for you, Kate, and send it to you from the game.
Please do, because I love that man. And the fact he at Bama was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Anthony and Colin, I love you.
We can't hate on that, you know. Now, you know, it's funny, I realized we all picked running backs today, but it's fine, man. Running backs put in a lot of work. So I get it. So my hot player of last week was Nick Chubb. He put on a show, you know, he had over 101 yards, 23 carries. One of them was 21 long with 2 touchdowns. Basically, like, you know, went in there and kind of beat up the Bengals a little bit. Nick Chubb never fails. He's always up there too when it comes to yards. He's 3rd this season with 149 attempts. First in yards right now, 141, 10 touchdowns, and he's averaging, you know, 5.6. So again, Nick Chubb's out here doing he's got to do. And he's a Georgia boy. So see, look at that.
Now you're pleasing Anthony and Colin.
No, but Nick Chubb's out there too. Like, honestly, like, it's fun. I like watching running backs always compete. I like that. I'm a fan of running backs. And so anytime they're competing and trying to outdo each other is always a fun time. And I think we picked 3 amazing running backs today, actually.
Yes, we did.
We're just dominating the game. So I can't wait to see what else they do this season. It's gonna be fun because I know we're gonna see a lot of them kind of compete and see what happens. So all right, so those are our hot players of last week. Hey, in the chats, I see y'all still in there. Go ahead, comment. Who do you think was the best player of last week? Who was your best player of the last week? Let us know. And we'll be sure to kind of, share that as well.